Alright guys, so welcome back to another episode of Handstylin. Today I'm going to be talking about proclivities. This is a fancy word of saying something that is consistently done, whether subconsciously or not. The definition is a tendency or choice to do something regularly, an inclination or a predisposition. In other words, it's something that you do, whether you're thinking about it or not, that's, consistent. There's proclivities in real life, things you do all the time that you don't even think about, or things you do all the time that you do think about, brushing your teeth. Your teeth are important, you brush your teeth, as much as you can. Me personally, I don't do it every day, but fucking whatever. But yeah, it's what a proclivity is, something that you, whether it's subconscious or not, something that you do regularly. So how this applies to hand styles. Basically, if you're trying to gain consistency in your hand style and you're struggling, you can't make all your letters look the same, which isn't important. But if you're kind of a beginner or you're an advanced writer and you want something a little bit more controlled and a little bit more consistent, I'm going to show you some proclivities that I use personally. This isn't by any means a standard, but I'll do a letter A and a letter R. So that's my letter A. This is the crossbar. I don't do a crossbar like that. It's just not how I do my letters, but this is the part right here. So I'm gonna grab a little highlighter thing here. So this part right here, that's my proclivity. It's just an aesthetic. It has nothing to do with the letter really. It's just a different way for me to swing back and create this crossbar. So I'll do the letter R next. And you can see I did the exact same thing here. I didn't do it perfectly, but you get what I mean. So it swings back. It's kind of like a weird Z. So yeah, that's my proclivity. It's just, you swing back and swoop back in. It's kind of like a kickback. A little bit more of a fancy than a kickback. So what's the point of this really? Like I said, it's to create consistency. When you have a hand style, I'll do a full hand style here of my name. You don't have to do it for every letter. I'm gonna do it for 3 of them, I guess. It gets so bunched up in the bottom, so you don't want to do that for every letter. I would say if you have 5 letters in your name like me, I'd say maybe do it for 2 letters tops. And what this does is it just creates some sort of visual identifier that you're developing your hand style, you're more consistent, stuff like that. I'll apply this to calligraphy as well. The way I do my letter N and my letter A and a bunch of different letters is all the same. So a brace is the back of your letter, and I'll show you one of my favorite braces is this shape right here. So when you do a letter D, that's your letter D. This is your brace, this line right here. So this is a fancier calligraphy type of way to do it. A little swoop and a back brace, so it's like a double brace. And then from there, you can add whatever. But I can apply this brace to pretty much anything that has a straight brace. So I'll give you an example. Letter R. See, letter R, same brace, same brace. Do it again. I'll do it with a letter N, N, R, D. There are completely different letters, but you can still apply this proclivity to each of these letters. And that's such a small thing you can do, and it's really common in calligraphy because calligraphy isn't necessarily bound up on proclivities and things that identify each letter as similar, but it definitely is a really good way to practice it. Let's get a new piece of paper here. So I'll show you what my name would look like if it had that kind of proclivity. Now, since I have an O in my name, it might look a little weird if I were to do that style of brace for the letter O, but you'll see. It's see, like, proclivities are not at all a requirement for a good hand style, but it is a good thing to look out for. because you can, it's kind of like a way to not necessarily cheat your way into consistency, but as you can see, all my letters have the same kind of formula going. Same brace, same brace, same brace, same brace, same brace. And the only thing that's changing up is how I do the right side. And see, another thing, this is something that I didn't even notice that I was doing. This proclivity on the top here. This is a standard calligraphy top. That's something that I didn't notice that I was doing when I was doing it. I was focusing on the brace. So you can see that I have a proclivity that I only noticed by, looking at the playback on my camera. Proclivities are going to come by themselves the more you write, the more you practice, but keep watch. The things that are working for your hand style, pay attention to them. Let's say I'm going to do letter D like this, and I'll do like a letter D like that. So what's working in both letters? This part of the letter is swinging back, and it's all one motion. It's a simple way to do hand style. It looks aesthetically good. You could easily just do this D in, as an exaggerated form, like a really retarded, like little swirl. But that doesn't look as good. If you have this brace, this artificial brace, you're adding, you can add this proclivity to a lot of letters. So, letter A, so on. So look at your letters, whatever you tag, pick out your favorite letter that you're working with. This doesn't apply to beginners only. This is kind of like an advanced method. Pick parts of the letter that you think is strong. Things that are balanced, like you can see my R is kind of dense here. My O is really open. So you want to find, like I'd say my A is the most balanced here. It has a good balance of negative space. Whereas my D and my O are almost the exact same shape, basically. So, I have more variety in my letter A opposed to my letter R. So, what did I do in my letter A? I have this brace. I have this little kickback, which I used in my R as well. And I have all these crested tops. So, it's just a really small thing that you can add to your hand styles. I don't need to go into any more depth about this. If you ever need any help, trying to figure out what a proclivity is, if you need, more brush up on what it is, just hit me up, shoot my email. I'll have all my links in the description as always, but if this helped you, please let me know in the comments, and hopefully this helps you whether you're a beginner or an advanced writer. Proclivities are definitely a really strong thing. This is what, advanced writers do, both calligraphy and graffiti, something that everybody's looking out for, so definitely keep your eye out for proclivities, man. Take it easy.